After what feels like forever, I am finally, for the very first time, going to be listening to Rakshak by Bloodywood. Hello everybody and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on my channel. So right away off the bat, the first thing I have to say is feel free to go into the description of this video or look on the timeline to skip around, because I'm going to probably be talking about all sorts of weird things that you may or may not care about, and that's totally fine with me if you go ahead and skip. What this video is going to be is me talking a little bit before I listen to the album, and then I'm going to be taking the album, take the CD, put it in this case, in this video, in my computer, which I have sitting off to the side, and I'm going to listen to the album all the way through from front to back for the very first time with my headphones on, and I'm going to be talking about what I'm hearing almost the entire time. So that's probably what you're here for, so feel free to skip all the way to that. If you want, feel free to skip to the very end of the video, where I will have a section where I just sort of give my overall thoughts on what I've heard and give a little bit of a review, basically, of the album and just sort of my thoughts after the album is done. So feel free to skip wherever you want. But I have a lot of things to go over here, and the first thing I have to say is that this video seems to me like it's almost been cursed a little bit. I had all my gear and everything set up a week and a half ago about at this point to record this video. This is something that I've been waiting for forever. I pre-ordered this album before it came out on CD. I believe the actual album itself came out digitally at the end of February 2022, and I pre-ordered the album before that. And then I got a delay through Amazon, and then I said I got told that it was going to be coming out in March, and then maybe to April, and it got pushed back, and it took forever to get here. And I have several other videos on my channel where you can see this CD sitting on the shelf in the background, or just that I mention it or whatever, that it's coming up. So I've been looking forward to doing this review for a long time. However, it's finally here. I was ready to record about a week and a half ago, and that morning I stepped off of our deck and just destroyed my ankle. And so I've been barely able to walk for the last week or so, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm getting better. And so anyway, that's one thing I just wanted to mention. Totally ridiculous and stupid, but there it is. Another thing that I have to mention is I have a new camera that I'm recording this with a different microphone and a completely different setup. So if you've seen any of the other videos on my channel before, you'll know kind of what it looked like. And now I have this crazy camera here that's this like weird, like very wide angle, almost like fishbowl-y type thing going on. And that is because I bought a webcam, and I discovered what Streamlabs OBS is, and that I can record everything in one go. Before, what I was doing was using my camcorder and a microphone hooked up to a different device, not the camcorder, because the camcorder doesn't have any audio inputs on it. But I was using a camcorder with a separate audio microphone, good microphone, better than this one, unfortunately, but we'll see how this one goes for this video. But anyway, I was using separate devices for everything. Then I had to bring all the separate pieces into my video editing software, which I use Sony Vegas, and stuff wouldn't line up. The audio would be off over time just from, like, you know, different things not syncing, and I would have to listen to the entire thing in real time while editing. And so I'm trying this video with a new camera that I bought. I did a lot of research to try to find out which webcam was one that could potentially serve my needs here. And so I bought this Aukey. It's a PC LM1E model, and I think it actually looks pretty good. I can tell just from looking at it that the frames are not what my other camera was. I believe that was, you know, I don't know. This is supposed to be 30 frames, and it doesn't really look like that to me. We'll see what it looks like afterwards. I don't know. But anyway, the reason I bring all that up is because I have a whole different setup. My camera here is completely different. I don't know if I care for the way that it like warps everything, you know, as I get closer or to the sides. I have my computer off to the side with a monitor, which I normally don't have. So if you see me throughout the video looking over here, or have my eyes averting over here, it's because I can see myself, which normally I only see myself on a tiny little screen much further away. Also, I'm using this microphone, which I am an audio guy. For those of you new to my channel, I have worked on albums, done things. I have a degree in audio engineering, so I always come from these videos from a more of a production or a recording standpoint or angle. And so I don't know how good this audio is going to be. This is just my blue Nessie microphone. It's very old. I bought it for like $2 from a guy who said he couldn't get it to work, and I plugged it in and never had any issues. So I don't know what it's going to sound like. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record this whole thing. I don't know. I'm already 4 minutes and 46 seconds into the recording, though, I see. So, you know, I really have no idea what this is going to be. If the video is going to look terrible, if it's going to look better. I was hoping that I could get it to look better, but we'll see. This Aukey webcam only cost me $13.50 off of eBay. So I got a really good deal on this. And like I said, I did a lot of research, and I thought I was going to be really happy with this, but my computer's not very strong. The processing power is not, I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. And so all that technical stuff aside, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. I'm assuming that Streamlabs is going to record. I did some test recordings. When I play the CD through here, it's going to sync everything up. Before, I used to have to like listen to the little bleed from my headphones to try to find where the audio would go. So hopefully in this video, I know Rakshak is a band that I've seen them do interviews with Tank the Tech on YouTube and stuff before about how they are happy with all these reaction videos and things. And it's now been several months since the album came out, so maybe they're not looking for those type of videos anymore, but people are always, I'm assuming, discovering them. And so I'm assuming that this video will get through YouTube's, you know, copyright stuff, and I'll be able to use the audio in the video, and that with Streamlabs, I'll have everything lined up for me in my track, and I can just rip the CD and then put that actual like 44.1, you know, CD quality audio in there to then render it down as the videos that I normally do. So we'll just have to see what happens. But totally changing gears, I have to mention that I've been building up to this video for a long time on my channel, because this is the last shirt that I have that I found in my closet downstairs that I had bought when I was in high school about 18 years ago. And so this is my last No Boundaries shirt. That's why it's kind of a silly shirt, but I've been wearing it throughout on my channel throughout my videos this year. And I really like this one. It's kind of one of the stranger ones. It's got this really cool dragon on it, you know, which I think is really cool, detailed dragon. I do not know what the writing is. It's Asian, obviously, of some sort. I don't know anything about it or anything. I think it just looks cool, and it's something that I bought, like I said, about 18 years ago. I graduated from high school in 2005, so it would have been in the few years before that or so. So this is my last shirt, so people can look forward to there being no more crazy No Boundaries shirts, I guess, in my videos moving forward. Another thing I have to mention, what else is there? Well, I was planning to do this. So on my channel, sometimes in my videos, I will showcase cool things that I bought recently at like garage sales or at auctions and things that I find. And usually stuff pertaining to music that I think maybe someone watching the videos might be interested in. And so if you're here to watch an awesome metal video, I promise I'll be getting to that. You can skip again. But I do have a couple things that I wanted to show of just some like records that I bought at a garage sale. And some of them are really interesting. Some of them are different. This is Slim Whitman yodeling, and I saw this and I was like, oh, that's really interesting, a yodeling album. I wonder what that sounds like. And the place where I bought this had several other yodeling albums, one of which is behind me up here on the wall. This is Elton Britt Yodel Songs, and then the last yodeling one that I bought is probably my favorite. I've actually listened to this one. It sounds fantastic. This is Grandpa Jones Yodeling Hits. So look at that. Really cool. Something really interesting. I also got, let's see what else I got. Jack Green, What Locks the Door. Just kind of a cool old guitar-driven sort of album. I'm a really big fan of Dwayne Eddy. This is interesting because I live in Nebraska. This is a sort of a local thing. Listen to the Land, Songs of Nebraska and the West, from Dr. Robert Manley, Janet Carroll, and Bob Jr. I've actually listened to this as well. Doesn't sound the greatest, but it is interesting. Then I got a Cat Stevens album. This is actually really cool. The artwork on this is really neat. This album is called Numbers. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this is sort of like a little 3D type of overlay. And then inside, there's Cat Stevens again. If you're unfamiliar with him, you can look him up, and I guarantee you probably know Cats in the Cradle. But this comes with a really cool book that's sort of like a children's book that I believe he illustrated and wrote. So it's just kind of a, I don't know, a neat thing. It's very simple. And the whole album, I believe, has to do with like numbers and trigonometry and different aspects of math. It says on here, a Pythagorean theorem tale. And then the songs are all things like, I don't know, it's Whistle Star, Novum's Nightmare, Mijak of Mijak's, Drywood, Zero, Home, Land of Free Love, and Goodbye. Definitely 60s or 70s. Like, that's actually, what year is this from? 1975. So that's really cool. I'm really happy with that. I found a cool Madonna single. This is a 12-inch maxi single for Dress You Up. So that's kind of cool. Not the best condition. This is one that I was really excited about. This is Classical Gas by Mason Williams and Mannheim Steamroller. And the really cool thing about this is the recording studio that I used to work at in Omaha, Nebraska, the guy that was my boss, who had been working in the industry and had 40 years of experience almost up to that point, he worked on a lot of the Mannheim Steamroller stuff at their studio in Omaha. And so his name is actually on, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but his name is actually on this album as being one of the people to master it. Mastering by Cleet Baker, right up here. I don't know if I'll be able to show this camera. It doesn't look like I will. Anyway, it's up here somewhere. And so I was really excited to find that. You know, not many people can find an album that has the name of a person that they worked with and knew very well, just at a garage sale. I also found this. This is Luke the Drifter Jr., Volume 2. This is Hank Williams Jr., and I believe it's his second album called Luke the Drifter. I don't know if it's some sort of a story he created for it or what, but I love the artwork on this. This is one of the reasons I bought this. This looks like an album that could be released today, I think. It's just really interesting. The artwork, this part is really interesting to me and just doesn't seem like something from, let's see if it says on here the year. I'm not positive. Oh gosh, it's got to be this maybe early to mid 70s, I would think. The back looks a little older than that. Oh, my computer's gonna... I'm gonna have to change my computer settings. Anyway, it's gonna die. But anyway, not die, but anyway, doesn't matter. This is cool. So that's already a lot of stuff. This is something you might care about watching this video. This is a really cool Deftones vinyl that I found. This is a single for My Own Summer. Shove It is the song's called My Own Summer Shove It, and then side B is Root Live. But this is a really cool gold vinyl. And I bought this for 50 cents. I thought that was a really cool get. All these were basically like nothing. It was like, the records were mostly, I think, $5 for $1. Oh, I had one other record down here I was going to show because I just think it looks so cool. This is Don Quixote, and this is a really cool set of records called Tail Spinners for Children. And you can see on the back here, well, you probably won't be able to tell, but there are a lot of really cool album artwork covers for these Tail Spinners for Children albums. And so I'm going to keep an eye out for any record that has Tail Spinners for Children on it from here on out because I think it just looks really cool and badass. And I think that's cool. Like, that's going to definitely go on the wall behind me at some point. So, Don Quixote. And the last thing I have to show that I'm really proud of, and you're going to say, why would you bother showing me that? And I'll just say, dude, take a chill pill, relax, take a deep breath, and let's all marvel at Winnie the Pooh. Because this is the complete tales of Winnie the Pooh. And this book, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, this is like probably the highest quality book that I own now. The pages are fantastic. The printing is fantastic. And if you're watching this video and you're thinking, I'm a tough metal guy, and why are you showing me the Winnie the Pooh? Like I said, take a chill pill. Winnie the Pooh is freaking awesome. Everything about Winnie the Pooh is cool. And you should take the time to just sit, relax, take a deep breath, and appreciate Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so now on to Rakshak and Bloodywood. So real quick before I get into the album, I just want to say that I'm really excited to listen to this. I found Bloodywood because I had heard something of them online through one of the reaction videos that I was watching, probably Tank the Tech or something similar to that. And the name registered with me Bloodywood, and I thought that kind of sounded like Bollywood, which is not my thing. And so I thought, oh, that's interesting, could be cool, you know. And then earlier this year, at the very beginning of the year, I for some reason, when I was in high school, there was a song that was on that we got stuck in our heads and we just loved. And this was before YouTube. This is an early viral thing. There was a song called Tunak Tunak Tan. And it was just something that we all loved and laughed at and would sing all the time when I was in high school. And I thought of it and I was like, oh, I should look that up. And I looked it up and I saw that Bloodywood had their own metal version of that song. And I was like, this is so cool. This is just awesome. And so then I did a little bit more digging and I found out that Bloodywood has some like sort of hip hop stuff and like rap vocals in their heavy music, and I love that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of bands that do it anymore that I can stand, at least. And so I got excited and I was like, this sounds really cool. The production sounded really great on the few little clips that I was listening to, just like YouTube videos and stuff. And so I thought, I'm going to see if they have an album. And I looked and they had an album that was going to be coming out. And so I pre-ordered it. And I already mentioned that, but the pre-order took forever to actually come out. It took forever to get my copy, but whatever, it's here. And I will say that I'm very excited to listen to this album. It's been a while. I haven't been in a metal mood recently, but I think I'm ready to get back into that. I'm super, super excited because later this year we get not only a new Demon Hunter album, not only a new In Flames album, we also get a new Soilwork album. And those are 3 of the 5 pillars of music metal bands for me when I was growing up that got me into metal. So I'm excited to listen to something heavy today. I'm really hoping that this music does have that heavy feeling to it. I know some of their stuff reminded me a little bit of Korn, and so I'm really excited for that, the heaviness of this. One thing that I'm a tiny bit trepidatious about, though, is that I don't own very much music at all from the Middle East section of the world, and that is just an area of the world that I actually know very little about. I don't know that much about the culture. I don't know that much about the geography really at all, and how the countries kind of intersect and all that stuff. So I really am really ignorant about that area of the world, and so it's kind of fun for me to be branching out. Now, I will say, if you're watching my channel and you're unfamiliar with me, almost 95% of all the music that I love comes from somewhere other than the United States. All my favorite metal bands are from Europe. I love a lot of Japanese music. I love all sorts of Canadian bands, and I'm getting into Mexican music and different sort of Latin-sounding music a little bit as well. And I think that this is me branching off in an area of music that I've never really gotten into before. I have said before, and I still stick with this, that I am not a big fan of sort of like auxiliary percussion stuff. And if you're talking about sort of like, and I don't know if this is the right word to use, but percussion that's sort of like ethnic sounding percussion, lots of congos, bongos, things like that, timbalas, finger cymbals, castanets. Obviously, I love tambourines and shakers. That's all over the place, and you can use that stuff. But like I mentioned, I've been getting into more Latin music a little bit more recently, and there's a lot of percussive stuff involved in Latin music. And from everything that I know about the Middle Eastern music that I have seen in some movies and things like that, and just the music that I've heard, I know that there's aux percussion is like a big part of their culture and their music, I believe. And so I'm excited to see how all that fits into a metal band. Now, I do listen to all sorts of different metal bands that sort of are heavy bands that include other sort of cultures and stuff in them. Like I think of Alluvieti including all sorts of like Celtic folk stuff in there. And also, when I first heard of this band, it actually reminded me a lot of one of the bands that I came really close to loving called Skindred, which is a band that infuses sort of like reggae, sort of like island sort of style music, reggae music, with rap rock or rap metal. And so that kind of, this reminded me of that a little bit. And so I'm excited to have something that's, like I said, I'm kind of talking in circles, but I'm excited to expand my horizons a little bit, not only into like a new heavy band, but also a heavy band with a lot of influences for different styles and genres of music that I really don't know that much about. And so we'll see. I will say the one Middle Eastern band that I do know very well that I love, they are from Israel, I believe, and they are called Infected Mushroom, and they are a psytrance band that I really, really, really enjoy a lot. I like every aspect of their music, and they are sort of a special band for me because I don't enjoy a lot of trance music that's sort of like that, though I think that they're very unique in that sphere of music, but I really enjoy all of their stuff. And so they do use in their music a lot of influences from their culture, and I really enjoy a lot of that stuff. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to sort of carry that enjoyment over to this project. Another thing that I have to mention is that on my channel here, I do not include swear words in my videos ever. I like to think of my videos as being something that anybody can watch at any point and hopefully never get, offended by anything that I say. At least I try not to say anything offensive. I'm totally ignorant in some ways, like I said already. But I try not to have swear words in my videos. And so when I upload a video that's a reaction to an album that has swear words in it, I go through and I actually edit the audio to like make my own clean versions. I do not think that there's a clean version of this album out there. I will search for that beforehand just to make sure, but I'm in looking through the book, which it does have the lyrics for the songs in here, and it actually is really cool because it has the lyrics in both English. Oh shoot, come on, lights. English. This camera also doesn't want to focus, but it has it in English and their native language, which I'm not sure what language that is, and I don't want to just say something guessing or whatever and be totally wrong, but some Middle Eastern language, I would assume. And so I did see that there are a lot of swear words on this, and so I don't know how I'm going to approach that. If I'm listening to this and I don't care for the music that much, which I don't think will happen, I may just decide not to include the actual audio in the video because, like I said, well, I know I'm getting a little too deep into the weeds here. You probably don't care. You love the swear words. It's probably your favorite part. But for me, I will see what happens. I may end up having to do a lot of editing on the music to make it so that it is a clean version because I go through and actually do it. Like I said, I'm an audio person, and that's the part that's most important to me for these videos. So, let me see. Is there anything else? I'm sweating. It's really hot outside. I turn the air conditioner off when I record these videos. So, I guess one more thing I want to mention, just because I never have anything to plug that's like a really truly special thing, but this book that I have right here, for 10 years I've been working on a Harry Potter podcast, and we recently just released this book, The Unofficial Harry Potter Companion Volume 1 for the very first Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which I believe I have a copy of that right here. I've got 2 copies actually behind me. But this book is something that I personally did not work on the book other than to do the 350 episodes of the show that we've done as a podcast. But if you're into Harry Potter, just look this up and see if it would be something that you would be interested in, and just know that I would greatly appreciate it, and the other 7 or 8 people that worked on the book and that are a part of our show that we've been doing for 10 years now, we would greatly appreciate any interest whatsoever. So feel free to look that up. Yeah. I think that's pretty much everything. So with all that said, let's get to the music. But first, I have one thing I have to do. I promise this won't take very long. I don't know if you can see my table right here. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see this. Look right here at the table, and I'll be right back with you in just 1 second. Yep. Today I had to have some good Mountain Dew, as I always do, and so today we've got one of my last thrashed apples. Dang, I need to figure out my positioning of my lights. But anyway. Like I said, it's warm in here, and so I'm already sweating, and we're not even listening to any intense, crazy metal. So let's rectify that. I've already got the CD in the CD player. Normally I like to use my own CD player for this because I know the output of that, how it works, everything, but because of Streamlabs, I have to play it through my computer now. And so this is another sort of unknown quantity with me here. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work, but we'll see. I do have this extra cable here that I should mention. My headphones are kind of funky, and so I have to use this extra cable, this purple thing here. And what it does is, it's really cheap. I ordered it off of Amazon, but it's really cheap. It actually switches the stereo image. So if I am not thinking about that when I'm talking about what I'm hearing, just know that if I say something's on the left, it may actually be on the right for you. That's just my headphones and my my stereo image here. So, all right, we've got this going. Let's see if I can find my Winamp player. Sorry, this is all something that I'm much more used to doing. And let's just start with track 1, Gadar. Oh, it looks like all these songs are longer too. This is great. 10 tracks, Gadar. Okay, we're going, by the way. Oh, yeah. Okay, awesome. Ah, yes! Oh, that rhythm. A little gentler than I anticipated it being. Oh. Okay, awesome. So we started out with sort of like harsher, faster, almost rap vocals, and now we're to more clean. Okay, there's a lot of... The word I'm going to use is Middle Eastern, and I apologize if that's not correct. But there's a lot of Middle Eastern sounding things happening, and I love it. It really makes it feel unique. This sounds like the chorus, and it's heavy vocals during the chorus, distorted vocals during the chorus. Oh, some cool synths in there. Awesome, awesome. I'm so glad, even though I'm unfamiliar with this band in a lot of ways, I'm so glad that they got to be popular in the way that they did, and all these reaction channels were taking this up, because I imagine people listening to this that don't really listen to heavy music that often, or that do, this is just totally different from anything that they listen to, and I love it. WWE. Except I think I remember reading that, and I was like a little offended, not offended, but I'm like, that fake stuff from WWE, it's like, come on, dude. But cool that they mentioned it at all. Big wrestling fan. Me. Love this. Love the harsh vocals. Very intense. Totally fits with the music that's going on. The kick sounds really good. The snare sounds a little bit in the back, but it's got a nice sound. Now I am hearing a lot of percussive things, though it's hard to have those sort of elements stand out when you have everything else being so intense. There's definitely some sort of drums played. Sound like very woody sounding drums. Not very deep, a little bit higher frequencies. And that's cool. If it was too low, the frequencies would sort of intermingle with the bass and the kick drum and the low frequencies of the guitars, and things could get muddy. So having all these extra higher frequency things sitting above the metal, almost in a way above it, allows things to sit on top of the mix, and you can hear all the different elements, even though there's a lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, breakdown. Awesome. Also, I love that they mention their patrons. Their booklet, there's 4 pages just solid thanking their patrons. Get a little bit more singing here, singing voice. inside the book, I really like this quote here. It says, "For those who were forged in the tests of fire, who know that despite our differences, we are one. May your fire burn forever, even beneath the frost. May you battle for a better world, even when all hope seems lost." Okay, that's track 1. Awesome. Track 2, Aj. Oh, cool. Like a flute instrument there of some kind. Definitely sounds like some sort of a woodwind instrument. Nice synthetic swells there. Awesome. This sounds almost Japanese. This is like Bloodstained Child, maybe a little bit of a Luvieti. That synth in the back there, though, really makes it feel Japanese, I think. Awesome double bass kick drum there. Oh, yes. Definitely like Linkin Park vibes here, too. I love this. I love the flow. I love it. Pre-chorus, maybe this is the chorus. This could be pre-chorus as well. Okay. I love that acoustic instrument. Awesome. Big soaring chorus here, but still harsh vocals. Love it. Multiple layered. Awesome. Pitched vocals there to make it sound more like singing. Really well done. Lots of layered there. I think multiple track. Man, listen to that snare here. And that synth bass. Wow. This is a lot more technical than I thought it was going to be. That's very cool. Yes. I love that. I love the beat with the hip-hop over it. I love it. The heavy beat, the heavy intensity, the aggression. Oh. Yes. Yeah. Whoa. Whatever that flute-sounding instrument is, we just get in a shredding solo. It's so hard to have an instrument like that that's normally considered a gentle-sounding instrument. And when I say gentle, I don't mean DJ, gentle. A gentle-sounding instrument, a softer-sounding instrument. To have that play a solo over the top of this very intense, aggressive metal music, really good mixing. Really good mixing. One way to do that would be to sacrifice some of the higher frequencies in the guitars and the drums to allow these other elements to sit on top of the mix, like I was saying. But they're not doing that. Oh. Female vocals in the background, I think. Acoustic guitar. This is awesome. What a cool melody. Everything about this is amazing. Really close mic'd acoustic guitar. Yes. I love the flow of the hip-hop. I love it. Yes. This is reminding me of something, and I can't quite put my finger on it, the way the vocals sound. awesome. Just awesome. Really cool. Dang, that's awesome. Okay, we're only on track 2, but we're already 2/8 of the way, or 2/10 of the way done. Okay, this is Zanjiro Sei, and I'm totally butchering any of this. I was going to say on the back here, it says all songs by Bloodywood, lyrics by Raul Kerr, Jayant or Yayant Badula, and Karan Katiyar. Composed and produced by Karan Katiyar. Mixed by Karan Katiyar. So it sounds like this Karan Katiyar guy is one of the main people of the band. Very cool. Female backing vocals here, just doing some ahs in the background. Love it. Also very cool contextually, because in the song before this, we had the bridge of the song was female backing vocals. Awesome. Oh, really close singing. Awesome overdubs there with the vocals as well. Cool guitar part there. I think that's a guitar with a delay on it. Very nice delay effect there. Kind of takes the ear and makes the ear go. Ho, 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 ho. Very wonderful, clear vocals. Okay. This is sort of a ballad. I love all the background vocals, all the overdubs, very good. Sanjiro Sei. Okay. The acoustic guitar, it sounds like. I know there are certain Middle Eastern acoustic instruments that are like guitars. I know, obviously, like sitar is one I've heard a lot. I don't know what culture that comes from, and I don't know what these other I know that there are other like sort of acoustic guitars like instruments, and I just don't know what any of that stuff is called. But I'm hearing some stuff that doesn't necessarily sound like an acoustic guitar or a 12-string acoustic guitar. Not a lot of nice vocal overdubs here, I mentioned that. Nice, very catchy. Oh! Technical metal part here, love it. The drums and the bass and the background soupiness of it is still continuing, but to then have this really nice palm-muted technical guitar part come in, almost like a lead guitar, but it wasn't a solo. It was both sides of the guitars. That was awesome. Is that the end of the song? Probably, huh? That was great. The first 3 songs, awesome. Okay. Okay. Wow. Love that. Hey, hey. It's a fight between can and should. So bounce in the sound, make a revolution. This is an act of war. Wow. Wow. I will say I did read some of the lyrics, not all of them, but I did read some of the lyrics, and it did seem a lot of them were sort of themed to like hopefulness, like sort of fighting the power type of things like that. And all that, I believe, is something that if they're talking about something specific, I obviously have no context to it. But I feel like it's a little bit universal enough that people can, you can take the meanings from the lyrics and apply them to yourself in your own situation. And a lot of lyrics do that just in general. I mean, I think a good songwriter knows that and writes things that are a little bit more universal. It's fine to be specific sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't focus on the lyrics that much, but I did read the lyrics a little bit beforehand, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. Very cool. I'm really surprised at the gentiness of this. I was thinking that we were going to get more sort of like almost, I don't know, maybe kind of like more of a Volbeat sound where the guitar players are using more of all the strings rather than just the lower genty, like power chordy strings. If that makes sense. But I love this. Like I said, Bloodstained Child is something that is coming to mind when I hear stuff like this with those keyboards over the top of and just the screaming vocals. Yeah, this is awesome. There's like a flow to this. There's like a boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. You know, it's aggressive, but it also has this like bounce to it. Very cool. Awesome. Oh, so cool. Oh, I love those stabs. Awesome. So cool. Don't know where this song is going. I love this. This is so much better than I thought it was going to be. And I had high expectations, but it's so much more than I thought it was going to be. The drums are fantastic. I love it. You know, another thing that this sort of reminds me of is, in my opinion, one of the great metal bands. They haven't released many albums, but Maximum the Hormone from Japan. Talk about vocals. Just incredible. All four members of the band do their own vocals, and they all do their own different styles and things. There's heavy, there's singing, there's poppy, there's all sorts of stuff. And I'm getting a lot of vibes from this. I know that there's two different vocalists, at least. Plus, I've heard some female vocals, too. So they're not afraid to have other people sing on the songs, and I love that gang vocal feel is really cool. And I've talked about this in almost all my videos. Background vocals, gang vocals, overdub vocals are one of the least underrated elements in all of music. So many songs can be made or broken by their vocals, their overdubs, and how they're done. And background vocals can make a song 100%. So I always try to point that out. And like in this case, the background vocals, the vocal production in general has been fantastic. Wow, really fast. Again, those different percussive sort of stringed instruments. Oh, God, I love that they have like cleaner rap vocals than harsh rap vocals. Awesome. I love fast vocal rhythms. I love it. And when it's combined with metal, and for some reason a language other than English, some languages like Japanese, just you can speak so fastly in Japanese, and I just love the way it sounds, and this is giving me the same feeling. Wow. That instrument I've heard before in things, but I don't know what it's called. Very buzzy sounding. Wow. This is so much heavier than I thought it was going to be. I love it. And like I said, the gentiness of it, I love it. I know I just keep saying I love it, but man. I'm not going to apologize for saying I love it because it's so awesome. Pitch shifted vocal there. Getting a little like we butter the bread with butter going now. But everything is tinged in that sort of Middle Eastern flavor. And that's one of the things that's so cool to me about it. Like, they are clearly from this specific area of the world, and they are showcasing that, in my opinion, to me, in my uneducated, stupid American brain. I can tell that that's where this is coming from, and I love it. It's done so well. I feel like even with my limited, very, very, very limited knowledge, I can appreciate all of the awesome cultural influences musically here. A little bit of In Flames going on every now and then. Is that like background vocals? Oh, 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 oh. Very cool. That's what that is. Okay. So here we have a very choppy guitar riff. You know? And over the top of that, you have this nice melody, this beautiful melody. Those synth sounds, man, they are Bloodstained Child. A lot of swear words here. I need to remember which song this is. Track 5. I will say the production on here, it doesn't have a ton of information about who did what or anything like that. But tracks 4, 6, 7, and 8 all say the name of the song and then album version. Which to me says that they were maybe singles recorded at a separate time. Although I have heard no difference in the production or the sounds that they were using from any of the songs that say that or that don't say that, though we've only heard one song, the previous track. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay. Some sort of a whistle. Wow. Such a cool metal beat. You don't hear that very much in metal. Much more of a pop beat. Wow, totally different key of vocals. Really like it. Oh, interesting. That flute thing going the whole time there I found a tiny bit distracting, but that feels like that's sort of like the core of the song, so interesting. Nice guitar part here in the background, very simple. Just creating more atmosphere really than some sort of like an intricate part. What if they have a keyboard player in the band? I didn't see anything in the book here that says who plays what. It just says on here on the back of the book, Bloodywood is Karan Katiyar, Jayant Badula, Raul Kerr, and then the 3 live members, Vishesh, Singh, Roshan, Roy, and Sarhak Pawa. Again, so sorry. But it doesn't say what they play or anything like that, so. I hope this band continues forever and just, this is awesome. Again, that and that flute playing thing, whatever that is, that guy is going hard, or woman is going hard with this song. Okay, back to this sort of chorus or pre-chorus with some additional vocals over the top, so we got some polyrhythm stuff going on. Man, and that flute thing just constantly in the middle. I feel like it's a smidge too loud, but I can hear everything else that's going on. The vocals are such a different sound than the clear tone of that flute-like instrument that it does work. Interesting, 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 interesting. Okay. Back to that whistle sort of thing. Reminds me of like a tin whistle or something like that, which I'm a little bit more familiar with from the symphonic metal bands that I listen to, but not something that I know very well at all. For a tiny bit of context, in my culture, I guess it would be, we're Czech. I was going to show you this. I am a Czech heritage, I guess. Though we don't really do much with our Czech heritage, but you know, polka music is something that's been a big part of my family, which is mostly just, you know, some trombones, tubas, and of course the accordion. But I really don't like polka music very much. But as I've said, I like all sorts of music from around the world. And I was so excited to discover something else like this that clearly has all these influences that I don't know that much about. A little bit more of singing I feel here in the behind the vocals. Really nice. All the choruses are really big. This song also has that flute thing just going in the middle constantly, though I feel like its volume is a lot less. Wow. There's more like sort of Rumble, SmackDown, WWE stuff. some references. That's really cool. Or maybe that's a bad thing, because WWE have been trying really hard the last few years, the last decade really, well, maybe a little less than that, to really break into the Middle Eastern market, having their shows in Saudi Arabia and Jeddah and stuff, or maybe Jeddah's in Saudi Arabia. Sorry, terrible. I'm awful. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know how people feel about that that are part of those cultures, because it's always full, you know, when they have these huge 80,000 people there. But maybe some people there feel like it's too corporate of a thing. I don't know. It's interesting, though. I will say, as a WWE fan, it's fun to see them expand around the world. And they've definitely gotten more Middle Eastern sort of wrestlers going and stuff, which is cool. Oh, that scream. Oh yeah, that. What is that? There's something in the background that's cool. What is that? Very weird. I don't know what that was. It almost sounded like something that was sick or something. There's definitely more like this feels, some of this feels really Celtic-y, which is really interesting. I love it when both of the vocalists are going at once. That's very cool. Doing different parts. Double time the drums here, the final chorus, I assume. Yeah, jeez. Okay, now this is, I think, the song Yad, Y-A-A-D, but there's no lyrics for that in here. Maybe is this just an instrumental song? Oh no. Oh, the songs are in order. The songs are in a different order in the booklet. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if this is Yad or BSDK.execute. So it seems to be like, based on that at some point, something maybe towards the end of the, right before they decided to change the. Okay, Yad. Possibly they wanted to have these songs switched around, but they didn't. Or the artwork for the book was finished before they decided to make that change, and they thought, well, that's fine. People can find it in the book, and they absolutely can. I just did.
This is the way it's meant to be.
Very cool. More intimate sounding vocals here. Much more melodic. A lot of interesting percussion stuff happening here, though. Sounds like there's some like metal drum type sounding things in there quite often in this song. Get back to verse 1, or back to the verse 2. You're the angel and my guide, a part of the spark and the power inside. So I go detect and gone, look back for a bit, but I'm still moving on to a story and a canvas yet to be drawn of a child. Okay, double time vocals here, that's cool. On and on in the way. Snare drum. May be gone, but what we have will always stay. This song definitely feels like it's in like a higher key, not very genty at all, which is interesting and cool. There's that flute thing coming in again, or that whistle. Ooh. Guitar solo? We have not had a guitar solo yet. Wow, shredding guitar solo too. Very cool. Keyboard solo along with it. Very cool. Very Children of Bodom. Wow, great solo. So that almost makes me wonder if this guitar solo on this song was a different person, like a guest guitar player for this song. Okay. I gotta say, I was expecting a lot more clean vocals, like clean singing vocals in the choruses, but instead almost all of them have been harsh vocals, and there's a lot of layering, a lot of overdubbing, and there's definitely pitches to the harsh vocals, and I like that almost more than the singing, which is really cool. You know, in metal, it's very common with a lot of melodic death metal bands and things to do harsh vocals during the verse, and then the chorus is these clean, soaring vocals. And they're doing that a little bit here, but they're really emphasizing the harsh vocals during the choruses as well. This is amazing. I definitely appreciate this flute, tin whistle type, wind whistle type thing more when it's being used as more of like a lead instrument rather than something to complement the vocals and everything else going on during the choruses. I don't care for the fact that it was just kind of shredding over the vocals during the chorus during a couple of the other songs. So I appreciate it more when it's used like this, I think. So here we're just getting the band playing. I feel like the drums are a lot less prominent in this song as well, but there were other elements going on too. So there's so much within every song that I can't imagine the mixing process for this. It had to be very piano. Very nice sounding piano as well. Probably just a patch though on a keyboard, but there's nothing wrong with that. All right, now we should have bsdk.exe. Oh, I love it. That sounds like a Korn type of thing almost. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. You got such an interesting voice. A lot of bad swear words in here too. This is one of the... We just had 3 songs in a row that all said album version, and I definitely think now that I know that, I can hear, like, this sounds higher quality metal than the 3 previous songs. I would definitely say. The metal at least stands out a lot more. Maybe the songs are written very differently, but also feels like there's less elements to this song. But I kind of prefer this. I think this sounds a little bit better. Sonic quality-wise. Distorted vocal there. Oh, there's some strings in the back there. It sounded like synth strings or something.
scale, make a storm, make it hail. News I could go impale, throwing parties for the parties, cause the rest is up for sale.
Such an interesting voice.
And then we throw the rest in jail. I give no like I said no.
Whoa.
To your cruise if you choose to spew the venom in the surface of the fuse, like the Nazi propaganda stereotyping of the Jews. Hitler thought he was the schlicker, but in the end he's gonna lose. I'm on the moon, there's a gonna get lost, and I do the moon.
It might be too much for me to go through and edit all these songs, so I may have to just like out the song a little bit. So if that's the case, I'm so sorry. I'll also have to just see how I feel when I'm doing this. Yeah. This just sounded a lot bigger and thicker to me than the three previous songs. So I am definitely thinking that they were recorded at a different time. The low frequencies, I feel, are being handled a lot better. The kick drum, the bass guitar, and then also just the, oh, cool. Little choral piece here. And we only have one song after this. Seems like definitely very politically driven lyrics. Oh, such cool rhythms. Oh, wow. I bet they had a lot of fun making this. Especially since it sounds so phenomenal. Like, it sounds so sonically good, so good. All right, I think this is the last track. This is Chocolate. Yeah. That beginning part there sounds a little bit like Tunak Tunak Tan. I don't know what that instrument is, but I definitely recognize it as a sound that it has. Man, I wish more heavy bands had rapping in it like this, especially if they weren't afraid to do it and be heavy with the rapping. Make more than just a beat smack. Yeah, here's a quick picture. The poor stayed poor and the rich got richer. But wait, here's another picture. The rich stayed rich and the poor got richer. Definitely more frequent, more like pitches to the harsh vocals here. Wow. Dude, I love the wall of sound vocals that are just attacking. I love it. Oh, I love it. No blame, no shame, and no more games. The potential of the privilege unleashed and untamed. I came for cash, stayed for fame, but pay attention, cause I ain't gonna use it the same. Feed the people,
feed the people more than a fish and rise up together, making more than a wish.
Wow.
Never equal, never will we all be rich, but it's time to switch it up and teach the people how to fish. People, God plan, this is our plan, and I know I just made a few of you go people damn. But listen, we got 7 times the cash needed to render poverty defeated, and if you believe it, then we're gonna beat it. Turn over justice, somebody and partner. We gotta get hands on it, get on it. क्योंकि सबके आगे है, सबकी जरूरत रोटी कपड़ा मकान. चकला चकला चकला, जब तक धड़के दिल जावा. चकला चकला चकला, अब तो हार बेजुबा. क्योंकि सबके आगे है, सबकी जरूरत रोटी कपड़ा मकान. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. क्योंकि सबके आगे है, सबकी जरूरत रोटी कपड़ा मकान. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. युद्ध नहीं आता, फिर भी हार न मेरी, हार मेरी जान. Take a deep dive and ask yourself why the lows are so low and the highs so high. I know we can bring the bands if we try, with the mic in a hand and a fist in the sky.
Gosh, the metal just sounds so good. The vocals sound so good.
In the sky. Let me show you what'll happen. Let me show you what'll happen if you try. Let me show you what'll happen. Let me show you what'll happen if you try.
Sorry, I'm not talking as much now. I'm just listening.
क्योंकि सबके आगे है, सबकी जरूरत रोटी कपड़ा मकान. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. क्योंकि सबके आगे है, सबकी जरूरत रोटी कपड़ा मकान. चकला चकला चकला, हक्के युद्ध नहीं आता. युद्ध नहीं आता, फिर भी हार न मेरी, हार मेरी जान.
All right, that's the end. All right, 47 minutes and 32 seconds, it looks like, is the total length there. So, all right, well, okay, well, I will say I think that the melodies and stuff on that last song were really good. That might be one of my favorite songs for sure. But some of the lyrics as I was reading it, I didn't really care for that much. But you know, like I said, I don't really pay attention too much to the lyrics, so not a lot I got to edit out here. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully the ease of recording it with the Streamlabs helps out. But okay, so that was. Can't believe I just forgot the name of it. I've said it 40,000 times. That was Rakshak by Bloodywood. So in so many ways, this album really just defied my expectations. Even though my expectations weren't like super, super high, this album ended up being so much more than I thought it was going to be. I did not think it was going to be so heavy in terms of like the complicated technical side of like metal. I did not expect it to be like that. The djentiness, like the low detuned guitars, the djent aspect of it, I did not expect, but I love it. It fits perfectly with this sort of like more hip hop vibe of everything. There were just more elements involved in each song. Like I did anticipate there being lots of extra percussion things and maybe a few like different sort of, like I keep saying, more like sort of Middle Eastern sounding instruments and stuff like that. But there was more than I anticipated. The background vocals were fantastic. The gang vocals, the guest vocals that they had, like certain female vocals on a couple of the songs. That one song, the penultimate song there, during the bridge, just for a little while there, had a nice little like choral thing going on, like a chorus, and that was really cool and a different element. So it really felt like nothing was off limits here. Like I said, the album was just heavier than I anticipated, which I really enjoy. I mentioned that usually with heavy bands or melodic death metal bands, things like that, a lot of the metal bands from the United States that I don't listen to very often, harsh vocals during the verses, a lot more rhythmic based, intense, and then the chorus is, the guitar players are playing a lot more like open chords and things and strumming, and it's more big and open feeling, and then the vocalists are singing a lot more. Whereas with this, we got a lot of harsh vocals during all the choruses, really. Whether there might have been some like just doing sort of like a bit of an In Flames type of thing where there's whereas with In Flames, I feel like at least more recently they focus on the clean vocals for the chorus and then have some harsh vocals to back that up and to thicken it. This felt more like it was focusing on the harsh vocals during the choruses, even though they were bigger and soaring vocals that did have pitch to them. So the vocalist is not just like a mono pitch screamer. There's lots of, you basically could sing while he was screaming. There was that, and then there were certain songs that did have clean vocals behind it, but the clean vocals weren't treated as the lead vocal. They were treated more as background vocals, and I really enjoyed that. And some of them sounded like there were multiple different people doing the background vocals, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. The guitars and the bass and the drums, the foundation of the metal aspect of the record, sounded fantastic. I really think it sounded really, really good. As I mentioned, it says on here tracks 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 10, I assume were all recorded at one time. And then tracks for the album. And then tracks 4, 6, 7, and 8 were either all recorded at another time or separately themselves. And that's why they all say album version. So I'm assuming that they were remastered from singles that were probably released before the album was recorded to sort of get the band going, which is really cool. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that they included those songs that were probably songs that people who are fans of the band knew and would have been disappointing to not have them on the album. So, for example, like Spirit Box, they released several songs before their album Blue. What's the album called? Eternal Blue came out last year. There were several songs on that album that I thought were going to be on there and then weren't, because they just recorded a whole new album worth of material and then included Holy Roller on it because it was such a huge song. Whereas this, I'm glad that they recorded basically half of an album beforehand to like get themselves going, and then another half of an album, put it all together to make a big album. It is only 10 tracks, which is a small number of tracks. I like a 12 to 13 track album. However, it doesn't bother me on this at all because the total running time, 47 minutes, is great, but also every song felt very full. It felt as full as it could be. And that was another thing that I think is a very positive for this album. All of the songs had all of these different elements, whether it was additional percussion or that sort of like flute whistle thing that happened a lot, which I do think was a bit of a negative on some of the songs. But like these different instruments, these different sounds that were included. I mentioned several times that I thought it sounded a little bit like a band called Bloodstained Child, which is a band from Japan that has a sort of a very specific sound. And I know that I think nowadays more bands use that sort of a sound, but that was sort of the first band that I heard that used this sort of like intense, heavy, like sort of almost like an In Flames sounding song, and then over the top of it to have this very like high pitched, not really squealy, but this high pitched like synth part. It's a very specific sound, and a lot of bands use that sound every now and then now, and maybe bands that I don't listen to use it all the time, but Bloodstained Child is sort of my reference for that sound, and there was a lot of moments here that reminded me of that exact sound. So that was really cool and a different sort of a surprise for me. I didn't expect to hear synths really at all in this. I expected everything other than the guitar, bass, drums, vocals to be more based in that sort of like acoustic, as I keep saying, Middle Eastern sort of like vibe. But to have the synth part as well in there, I really enjoyed. I thought that was really cool. And I think one of the reasons I think that is because when I think of like metal bands that have all these different sort of like influences in their bands, like I keep coming back to Alluvietti, they do have some synths, I guess, in their music, but they have 9 or 10 people in the band, and they all play all these cool old instruments like the hurdy-gurdy and the flute and the tin whistle and the pan whistles and violin and all this stuff. So like you don't need to have synths when you have all these 5 or 6 extra instruments in the band other than guitar, bass, drums, vocals. And this album sounded like that too. It sounded like a collaboration album. It sounded like there were lots of people in the studio performing all sorts of different things for the songs. And that's, like I said already now twice, I think, that the amount of things contained within each song is one of the most special things, I think, of this album. The fact that there's so much contained within each song, and each song felt like its own individual thing. The rapping, I love. I wish more bands would do stuff like this. I think that the rapper's voice was great and fits the tone of everything overall, though I think I liked a lot more of how it sounded the beginning part of the album rather than the second half of the album. He had sort of like two voices that he used when he was rapping, in this sort of like hip hop style. The guy that does the screams did some really cool fast stuff too, and I really loved that when it was both of them together or doing overdubs or whatever. I thought that was great. But at the beginning, I feel like it felt a little bit more hip hoppy, and then towards the end of the album, he got this sort of like lower voice that I feel felt a little bit more rap, which I know is kind of weird. Those are sort of abstract terms to use like that, but that's kind of just how I felt. But I think that yeah, overall I loved it. I think the harsh vocals were like sort of the thing that really got me on this album in terms of vocals. I love the hip hop stuff, and that's what sort of makes this unique in metal, because a lot of metal bands don't use hip hop or rap anymore. It's sort of hokey and they don't like that kind of thing. And so to have a band base their core sound around the music from their culture, which is so different from anything that I listen to, I really appreciate that aspect of it. But then I also really appreciate the aspect that they have that, like, just hip hop is a fundamental part of this band. Every single song had that guy who does those parts doing that style of vocals, and so I really appreciate that. I really think that it did a great job with making that feel different every time that it came up in a song. Because I suppose I could see a way where a band was doing this and they would feel a little bit samey every time that like the hip hop part came up in the song, and I didn't feel that way to me. I feel like there was like 2 or 3 songs where it was sort of more of like a ballady, slow type of part, and then a little bit of a beat would come in over the top, and he would do his rapping over that. But then a lot of the songs obviously were heavy guitar riffs with the rapping over that, and it's not always easy to do something like rap or hip hop over something that's so heavy when you're not screaming the lyrics, so to then have the screaming vocalist do some of that stuff as well, and the interplay between them, the interchanging vocals and stuff, all fantastic. I was really surprised there wasn't more clean singing. Really surprised. And so the fact that there wasn't, I think, was a pleasant surprise to me. That was one of the reasons I think the album overall feels heavier to me than I expected. Like I said, I was expecting this almost to sound a little bit more like Korn, and it did not sound like Korn at all. Korn, especially earlier on in their career, used a lot of hip-hop influence in a lot of their music, and I think they did a lot of really cool things musically. Even though I probably prefer the more modern Korn to the older Korn, obviously, but this really didn't sound like that at all. I was really expecting it to feel more like that, and it didn't at all. I really don't know guitar-wise, the guitar riffs and everything. Like I said, Gent was something I kept coming back for some of the songs. Those songs in the middle of the album that where they all say album version on here, I feel like they were definitely less heavy songs, and they were much more focused on having the additional auxiliary percussion, the additional things happening in the song. And I kind of alluded to it several times there. The more elements like that you're trying to introduce into a heavy song, the more you have to compromise with the heaviness of the music in order to bring those other elements in. I mentioned that whistle or that flute sort of part that happened. A flute is considered much more of a gentler sound, something that's much more associated with obviously classical music, but then also just like more of a soothing, relaxing sound. And to have a sound source like that playing intensely and like basically shredding the flute or the whistle thing over the top of metal can't be something that was mixed very easily or easy to mix. So I feel like in those songs where there was more stuff like that, more of that aux percussion, those sort of like metal drum type things that were there, I feel like that the heaviness of the guitars and maybe the kick and the snare a little bit were brought down in those songs to allow those other elements to sort of sit on top of the heaviness so you could hear them and understand that they were going on. But I think that the mix was done really well throughout. I think the songs that were heavier were sort of the songs that I enjoyed more. Definitely, I think that audio quality wise, the 4 or 5 songs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 songs that were recorded for this specifically, tracks 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 10, sonically sounded better than 4, 6, 7, and 8. But like I said, I feel like there were a lot less elements to those songs in terms of the additional instrumentation and things. But I feel like the other songs were a little bit better to me in my tastes and stuff. I just like they felt a little heavier to me, and that's what I enjoyed about those. But it's only by a tiny little margin that I prefer those songs. The fast vocal rhythms was awesome. Like I said, it reminded me of Maximum the Hormone, which in my opinion is the band that does like the greatest vocals really ever. I'm not saying they're the greatest singers of all time or anything, but like if you're talking about heavy music with intense vocals, like it's not the heaviest vocals in the world, but like just the way that they combine their voices and the wall of sound that comes at you, there's nothing that rivals it. Like any one of their songs is just insane. And this album kind of felt like that in ways. There were lots of different voices doing different styles of singing and screaming all at once, and it felt like this giant wall of sound that was moving very fastly with the rhythm, and I really enjoyed that a lot. I think that was a really cool, positive part of the album, probably one of the things that I liked the most about it. There were a few moments during bridges where everything kind of went down tempo, and we got like acoustic guitars and a few other instruments that I don't know what they are. Sort of acoustic guitar based things, or things that were similar in sound. There was piano a little bit. Like I said, there were some female backing vocals that was really nice. And so all of that I loved. Honestly, I loved all that. I thought that was all really great. Overall, I think the album was really good. Like I said, it's going to be a real pain to edit this, to like censor the songs, to make it clean for my videos. But overall, I think the album was definitely worth the wait. I wish I could have gotten to it earlier in the year. It will probably be on my top 12 for the year. That's something that I do every year on my channel here. And I put a lot of effort into creating my top 12 albums of the year list every year. And this is something that I was anticipating being on the list because I had, like I said, high hopes. And it definitely exceeded my expectations for the album. And so, yeah, overall, I love it. Loved it. So, thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comments of this. I don't know how many views this will get, or if I don't know what the heck's going to happen with this video. I look over here and I see what I look like, and I'm just like, that ain't what my videos normally look like, and the frame rate looks just awful. You know, if I do this, it's like my hand's just a blur. Basically, you can't see my hand at all. So my talking doesn't look like it's synced at all, you know, so I'll have to resync stuff, but hopefully it's all whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't care. Regardless, thank you very much for watching. As I always say, go out and share this music with someone that you think might not like it, because you never know. You might convert someone over. They might become a fan of the band or the genre. So always go do that. And on my channel in the future, you can look forward to new Interpol that's coming out. I'm very much looking forward to that. Their last two albums have been just awful to me. I really hated their last two albums. Specifically, their last album was just I couldn't even finish it. It was so bad. But I'm really looking forward to this new one. From the few little tiny clips, I'm hoping that it's much a return to form for them in terms of what I like from them. So we got Interpol, we got Soilwork, we got In Flames, we got Demon Hunter. I just saw the other day that the Editors have a new album coming out, and they actually called the album EBM, which EBM is actually electronic body music, is what it generally stands for. I don't know if they mean something different. But EBM, electronic body music, is one of my favorite genres of music, and there are not a lot of bands that do it. And of all the bands that do it, only maybe 5 or 6 or 7 do it well. So I'm talking bands like And One, VNV Nation, Mesh, kind of some things like that. And to have the Editors, who've sort of always played with a sound that was similar to that, their last album, Violence, I feel like came the closest to that, and I love their album, Violence. I think it's fantastic. To have them sort of maybe continue that sound and name their album EBM, I think, you know, who knows? I haven't heard anything from it or anything, but hopefully that's a statement of them saying, hey, here we are, we're joining this, we're going to do this music for real here. But just so excited for that. A lot of good music coming the rest of the year, you know, so we'll just have to see. But anyway, I've babbled on along enough here at the end. Thank you very much for watching. I don't know if anyone from Bloodywood will ever see this reaction or not, but if you do, thank you very much for making the music you did and for allowing me to expand my, definitely not that I understand anything more now, but I thank you for allowing me to expand the bands that I at least enjoy or love to different areas of the world, and maybe learn a little bit about a culture or something through that. I think that's really cool and really special. So thank you for doing that, if anyone involved with the band ever sees this video. But anyway, like I've said now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.